Hello everybody and welcome to another third-party review. In today's video I'm taking a look at the Zeta EX-03B Dark Gold. Now this is the first EX Zeta figure that I've reviewed. Basically their EX line is the X Toy World. It's when the Zeta team said their goodbyes to Toy World, took their designs that they owned and thought, right, let's make them and make a bit of money back. Here we have their nice brown shipper boxes. They're not spending any money on the boxes for the EX line. We already know what the figure looks like. We already know what Toy World did with the figure. They just want to give it to us in some safe brown packaging. We get the instructions, pretty much identical to the Toy World ones, albeit they now sport the X Zeta logo, and much like the old Toy World figures, we get them all in a nice foam insert. And here we have Stepper out of his foam prison. Now, in the original shots, all of the orange on this guy was painted gold. I do like the orange that they've used. Now he does not come with a Target Master, which is quite disappointing. I was kind of looking forward to him having one. Now I do have the Make Toys version to compare him to, but having both in hand, I know a lot of people went crazy for the Downbeat figure, but personally I prefer this over the Make Toys version. It just feels better in hand, and in my opinion looks more professional. There's no parts forming for the back of the legs, and I just love how this guy looks. The paint applications are done well. He does come with some rather funky accessories, albeit not exactly the ones that I wanted, but at the same time everything works, everything does what it's meant to do, and he is in essence a very good masterpiece Stepper. And here we have both versions of Stepper alongside one another. As you can see, Make Toys opted for the gold and Zeta opted for the orange. Personally, I do love the fact that Make Toys already gave us those kind of neon sticker vibes with the prints on the hip skirts. The Zeta version definitely does need some Toy Hacks repro labels just to make him kind of more in keeping with what we got with Artfire. He's got that kind of circuitry plastered all over him, and it's a huge nod to the late 80s and 90s. As to is this area on the Make Toys version. Taking a look at their side profile, both square up pretty nicely. I don't like this faux area on the back of the Make Toys version where you have to chop and change with some parts forming. That to me is not a good way to be. It's not my preference. I don't like the parts forming. When I know for a fact that Make Toys can make fantastic figures, they shouldn't have to be doing parts forming at all. Going around to the back of the figures, Make Toys does definitely tidy up quite nicely, but at the same time, the Zeta version does scream jazz, even as this Stepper with those lovely Porsche curves over the back of the ankles. I love the fact that Make Toys did include a Target Master, albeit he's not exactly in scale with the Takara release. I think it's entirely up to the user's preference. I mean, I personally think that the Toy World figure looks better alongside Artfire. What do you guys think? I mean, is he too tall? Do you prefer the gold that Make Toys went with? Or do you think that the Zeta version could rise above the occasion if we were to give him some Toy Hacks labels? Now, accessory wise, we get two of those megaphones, much like we get with Jazz, just painted up in that kind of mustard yellow. We get the alternative face sculpt, very shouty in comparison to the one on there at the moment, and we get the grappling hook accessory, again done in that kind of mustard yellowy orange. This is a wire through this rope and it is a nightmare to thread. I'm pretty good at threading needles, but this is kind of splintered on the ropes, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get that through. Taking a closer look at that face sculpt, I do like what they've done there. The paint is not just white, it's kind of a pearlescent white, which kind of helps that red beam pop when you have a little bit of on the top of that brow. This is a firing missile and it goes with quite some speed. Yeah, that's going to have somebody's eye out without a shadow of a doubt. Not sure what's going on with the circular motion on the front of the flame there. Is that maybe for the Porsche logo? Not entirely sure. I would have liked these lights on the front here to be done with the blue tint, but again, that's something that can be rectified with stickers. I think all in all, holding the figure in hand, it feels much more like a G1 toy than what the Make Toys version does, and I think that's what they're going for. I think they're going for the G1 toy vibe. It doesn't necessarily tick all of the masterpiece boxes, but I know a lot of toy fans love these Zeta figures, especially my friend Marcin. He absolutely loves these, and he's made all sorts of modifications and brackets to fit on these figures. But yes, these definitely have that look and feel of a G1 figure, and they've got so much die-cast and heft in them that I get huge nostalgia feels. Here we have him alongside the Toy World Jazz. As you can see, he's sporting the Printformers gun and shoulder rocket, and I've also done the modification on the backpack. It's just my personal preference, but I like to bring the doors out and around, so we have them at the side like so, and then bring these windows across, and as a result it cleans up the backpack. Kind of makes it look a lot thinner, but that is completely your preference as to whether you want to follow suit. But I think it definitely works with Jazz, really does finish him off. I love how that looks as well, and Marcin's done a great job with that shoulder rocket. I just need to get printed up in the right colours. But anyway, this isn't about Jazz, this is about Stepper, and I must say that these two look different enough, I think. I know they are the same character, but I mean, we could even go as far as bringing the wings up to the side, show that flame effect, just to separate these two characters. Just before I get to the transformation, I just want to have my 2 cents about the Target Master that's included with the Make Toys version. If somebody like X-Transport was to make a Target Master that looked like that, was completely out of scale, and had parts forming to make it into a gun, they would be ripped to shreds. I really think Make Toys kind of dropped the ball with this. It could have easily have scaled with the Artfire release. They could have made that work, and they could have done it without parts forming. I'm pretty sure of that, and at least tried to get the paint within the lines. And I'm not saying there's a huge size difference, but there's a huge size difference. And let's just see how he would look alongside Stepper. See, that's a pretty good scale. For the purpose of the transformation, I've returned the backpack to how it is as default, so we can go the correct way. These heel spur pieces are going to fold upwards 90 degrees on both sides. The toes are going to fold downwards. You can bring the front of the legs down as well. Make sure that the toes curl and they push in and hide away. You want to fold the front of that knee piece up and over, and then we can bring this leg down, this piece upwards, so that the wheels are now facing upwards. Also, piece is going to rock backwards by untabbing from this back piece. Just push that forwards, and that allows this back piece to rotate. This piece is then going to come up. These pieces are going to fold inwards, and as we fold those down, they're going to collapse like so, just with a little bit of brute force and ignorance, just quite thick paint on there, that's all. Then this piece here will fold up and over, just supporting the head and the back underneath. You want to rock the head down so it collapses inside the torso, and then we can bring this piece down, finishing off the bonnet. This piece here is going to flip up completely and tab inside. These will just come untabbed from this whole upper piece. Fold the fists inwards, make sure the arms are straight and compress them. Stepper's head folds down and collapses behind the windscreen to get it out of the way, and these arms can then rotate around and into the center. Make sure that the arms collapse so the fists are level with the black shoulder tab. Collapse that in, and then both of these shoulders looping into the middle like so, squaring off those wheels on either side. You can then bend this arm piece up like so. These slide in there nicely, and then these tabs can come down and down. Using this hinge in the center, bring this up and over so it faces the back. Slowly remove this tab from here. These are going to come down, rotate around so that these are now on this side of this hinge. Make sure that these hip guards are slid right back, and the leg is just going to come up and over and around, and it's now going to collapse into itself, and then we're going to come back, but we're going to come over this hip skirt, bending at the leg, and that's going to collapse in to the back, so that basically covers off at this angle, and then we can tab these two together. And basically what this is going to do, it's going to rock up. These are going to sit either side of the head, and then this is just going to come in and collapse all into place, he says. The door mirrors just flip round, this collapses, and this slides inwards. There's tabs on these yellow sections, they plug into the doors, and then there's a tab on the roof panel which tabs again into the top of that door. Make sure that these hip skirts are either side of those back wheel pieces, so these tab in nice and firmly. There's a tab on the back of the door which tabs in to the side panel of the vehicle, locking all of that position into place. We can then push down on the roof, which is going to tab and lock into the crotch. These pieces up, and they're going to slide in to one another like that. The spoilers again are going to tab into one another. This whole section is going to come up. These are going to slide under the roof panel and just push and tab in firmly, and then this spoiler section is just going to push in and lock into the back. And here we have Stepper all transformed up into his vehicle mode. Now mine's not perfect, it doesn't quite tab in as I would like. If you push down on this bonnet section, you can hold it all in, but this door panel will not lock into that locking piece. I may have to just see if I can shave a small piece of plastic or something off there. For the life of me, that will not lock in, and as a result, this being out of line pops the top up here, which in turn pops the window out, and as a result we get a slightly uneven bonnet, which is not what we want. Because this is a gorgeous alt mode, really vibrant colors, definitely screams Stepper to me. Love those rims. I actually had a set of rims just like that on my Ford Capri at one point. The spoiler again is a little bit loose. That's the die cast sections all around the back here, not quite tabbing in alliance with the plastic. And I only have the one wing mirror in my set. I don't know if I've knocked it off or whether it only came with one. I don't think I've knocked it off. But yes, I only have one wing mirror as well, which is okay. Legally, I don't think when these Porsches were originally released you needed 2 wing mirrors. I don't think that was an essential part, but it does just about roll. It's a very low threshold there. We do have rubber tires as well. Everything seems to be plugged in where it should be. I'm just really confused as to that last finishing touch, why it's not quite tabbing in on that side there. But yes, that is a gorgeous looking stepper. And here we have the steppers together, and would you believe it that the Make Toys actually comes up slightly larger, but it does have that very kind of plasticky feel to it, although it does seem to hold together a bit better than what my Zeta version does. But at the same time, Zeta doesn't have a huge gaping hole in the back. Really not a fan of how that looks there. It makes you want to try and forcibly get these bits down, but they don't go down. It does tidy up quite nicely, as to does Zeta's. I think it is all a matter of preference. I mean, to be honest with you, if Zeta's plugged in a little bit better, or if I found out what I'm doing wrong, then I would be over the moon. I think it's an absolutely awesome figure. I'm not critiquing the Make Toys version. It is a good stepper, and it's nice that we get our Target Master, etc. But I personally prefer the look and feel of the Zeta version. I think it's kind of a Marmite figure. You either love it or you hate it. I know my good friend Thew got one. He got the Jazzy Toy World version and he despised it. He absolutely hated it. But at the same time, here I am. This is my second version of the mold. If you haven't seen my Toy World video, then here's a quick scale comparison to show you how they fare. To be honest with you, I think that works remarkably well. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, X-Zeta's take on Stepper. And let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you'd like to see my Jazz review, I've left a link at the end of this video. Once again, I'd like to thank Robot Kingdom for making this review possible, and until next time, from myself and the Zeta EX-03B Dark Gold, thanks for watching, goodbye.